Hi guys, welcome to another video and welcome back to the channel. Just trying to think when I last uploaded a video. Stony Acres maybe? I can't remember. Honestly, we've had so much going on at the moment. We've been on site at Overwater Marina for the last 5 weeks, I think. 4 and a bit weeks. We're due to move on Sunday. Wait a minute. Yeah. We're due to move on Sunday the 15th of December to Black Brook Lodge in Derby. So we're going there as an interim measure before we go to Kettleby Lakes for Christmas. So over Christmas, we are celebrating at Kettleby Lakes. We went last time 12 months ago, maybe 18 months ago. And it's really nice. I went fishing, but it's a bit cold now for fishing, so we're not going to be doing that. Well, it's almost Christmas. And the reason we've been at Overwater for so long is the van. So we got from Stony Acres, I believe it was, back here to Cheshire. So from Shrewsbury to Cheshire, and the engine management light came on again with the same errors. So the turbo boost pressure solenoid thing, the P0638-61, and the P401 and the P402, which is the EGR valves. I've got an ongoing complaint, should we call it? It is a complaint. It's a, the vehicle's not fit for purpose with the finance company. I won't mention them because, nothing's come out of it yet. And they keep going backwards and forwards saying, we need this bit of information. We need you to prove that the components that you had fitted by the mobile mechanic, who obviously doesn't know his trade, didn't cause the problem. It's been going on now for over 50 days now, and their resolution date is 40 days. Now, their resolution is the dealer has offered to do another diagnostic. Okay, fine, fair enough. We'll get another diagnostic done, but we've had 3 diagnostics already, and those 3 diagnostics have all said the similar problem. The P638, the P401, and the P402. And those diagnostics, we've had the EGR valve replaced, the low pressure one at the front. We think about this. So the MAF sensor, the manifold airflow sensor, that's the MAF sensor. We've had the MAP sensor, which is the mass airflow sensor. MAP. See, we've had so much. We've had the MAF sensor, the MAP sensor, the throttle body replaced. We've had the turbo solenoid replaced because I had it replaced from a part off eBay, I think it was, and that was the incorrect one, even though it was a Fiat Ducato 2.3, 250, whatever. And the recent garage that did the stuff before we went to Gretna for the rally at Braids. I don't know what happened then. It turned off for some reason. I think there's an update on this phone, this camera. So the garage that did the sort of repair that worked for, I don't know, a week maybe, and then it came back again. He replaced the turbo pressure sensor again with one that supposedly is right for the van. And literally everything that the computers have told us to replace, we've had replaced. Now, whether it's right or not, because, there's probably not a root cause somewhere, I don't know. But they're insistent, the finance are insistent that we have another diagnostic done to prove that these faults were there before we were sold the van in October 2023. So what I've done under my own steam and sent this information to the finance company is I've been through the service book and I've contacted every company in the service book that's done a service. Now there's one space missing, but that is because one company did it twice and didn't stamp the book the second time, which is a bit rubbish really, but that's what happens sometimes. So I've been through the first people to look at the van. And when I rang them, that's a PDI check. So that was a pre-delivery inspection. So this company took the base Fiat Ducato chassis van, so the Ducato itself, with the chassis and the wheels and no hab. So they did a delivery from the manufacturer inspection, pre-delivery to Auto Trail. So that's fine, that's in 2018. So the van we know is a 2018 model, which is why I think it's got the twin EGRs, because after 2019, which is what the van's registered at, they replaced them with AdBlue. Anyway, that's the first one. Second one was at Brown Hills in 2019. Okay, I've rung Brown Hills. They had a brand new computer system in 2022, so don't have any of that details to hand. Now they're trying, I don't think they'll do it, they're trying to find a printed copy from the old system, if possible, and let me know. But that's a week ago since I spoke to them, and they've not got back to me yet, so I'm assuming they don't have any details on that. Now, coming back to 2019 in a bit with another garage, you'll see why. So after that was Spinney's in Crewe, in Cheshire. Okay, I've rang Spinney's in Cheshire, very nice chap, the service manager, was very helpful. He said, Spinney's did a hab check and a full service in 2021, which is the stamp in the book. He also said that they did the same full service and hab check in 2022, but that isn't stamped in the book. But there's a gap in the service book in between that and the next garage that that they should have stamped. So ringing him and stuff like that. So I've asked him. He couldn't send me the information because of GDPR, even though you can redact the stuff with a black line. I don't know, it's semantics. I think it's just the way that they work. He interprets it differently. I don't know. It's just, I can't get a copy of it, but he's told it me verbally. And I've passed that on to the finance company so that they can ring him and get that firsthand. Now, the interesting thing about that is that afterwards, he told me those, I said, I've got an engine management light on this van. You know, is there any indication of it there? And he sort of like went away for 10 seconds or so and then said, oh, actually, he said in April 2023, the previous owner brought the van into us with an engine management light on. We looked at it, didn't fix it, and they took it to another garage to be fixed. Again, think about that date, April 2023. Okay. After Spinney's, there's this gap with the other Spinney's. After that is a service stamp, which looks like the dealership where we bought it from. Don't know whether it's valid or not, because usually it's a registered workshop. There's a registered 2023 registered workshop. Is it NSL, JSL, whichever, for the national NCL, maybe the National Caravan, whatever. There's a sticker on the side of the van for 2023 that was looked at by an approved workshop. Now, we bought this van in October 2023. Okay, we had it for a little over 3 weeks before we took it to Scotland. On the way home from Scotland, which will be the 4th week, maybe the end of the 3rd week after we had it, the engine management light came on, and it's been on and off ever since, because I can clear the light and it runs for a bit and then it goes cold and you put the van on again, the light comes back on again. Okay. That was October 2023. So in April 2023, the van was at Spinney's for an engine management light. And the note from Spinney's said, customer wants to take the van to Europe, so needs the light removing. Now, my theory is that the previous owners, don't know who they are, don't care who they are, previous owners, because it's not on the V5 anymore, you can't tell. I think they took it to Europe, had all these engine management light problems with it, had probably clogged DPF, had a clogged EGR, had a turbo not working, and they've just kept clearing the error with a basic OBD2 reader like I've got that I clear the codes with. Okay. And the reason I say that is because when I go into live view mode, when the van's running and I get an error, it says that these settings that I keep resetting have been reset over 430 times. I need to get a screen grab actually of that and send it to the finance company as proof that 430 times isn't how many times we've driven this van. I mean, we've had it just over 13 months now. And in that 13 months, we've driven it just over 1,700 miles. And that is going from site to site on a weekly and a monthly basis. For the first 6 months we had the van, we took it to single sites for a month at a time. Then after that, we did a week or 2 weeks at a time. And then we were on holiday in America for almost a month. And then we'd done various things for another month in between that. And then the van was off the road for a month in 3 garages. So over the 9 months that we had it, plus the month December now, we've driven it just over 1,700 miles, which for a van is absolutely nothing. And it's not been stood because it's been driven every couple of weeks since, apart from recently, which is 5 weeks here, because we're in Cheshire and the dealership is in Stoke. So we were really close to that in case they said, "Oh yeah, come on, we'll do your diagnostic now, and we'll do it in a day, and we can tell you what the problem is." They've not got back to me. Nobody is being helpful. They really are disgraceful. They say they're helping by offering a diagnostic, but a fourth diagnostic will not tell us anything different than we already know. There's a fault with the engine and it needs rectifying. I've spent upwards of £5,000 trying to fix this van, including accommodation when it was away for a month, and 2 weeks of that month, as I probably said in the previous video, 2 weeks of that month at a Fiat professional garage. No work was done, and it just sat there in their storage area, which annoyed the hell out of me because that's no good service at all. But the other company, which I'll get onto now, on the service book is the one that I had done in August, which is the Fiat professional dealership in Deeside. Very pleasant people, but they were the ones that couldn't do any work with it because they didn't have a van. They didn't have a ramp, big enough to drop the engine to do whatever they needed to. And they were the ones that had it for 2 weeks. Now, that is annoying, but, it's one of those things, it does happen. What they have said, though, which is interesting, is that they have a computer system they can tap details into. Nobody else has been able to do this. And they say that there was a recall on the van and it already had a throttle body replaced in 2019. So I had one replaced in 2023, one was already replaced in 2019, and one was fitted at factory. The guy that I spoke to at the garage said it's unheard of that you have 2 replaced, never mind 3. So something has been seriously wrong with this engine for a long time, and nobody wants to take responsibility for it, and nobody wants to take ownership for it. I'm running out of options now on this because there's not really much place I can go to. I could go to small claims, I suppose, but they tend to only cover probably up to 200,000 with a mediator, but then it's going to cost a fee of, I don't know, 10 grand maybe. And I don't want to do that because, the van's not really worth that sort of hassle. And then other than that, there's a mediator. And I've already got that with the finance company, so I don't want to do that. And I can go to the financial ombudsman, but then that's going to take 6 months. And we can't just keep running this van in a state like this because it's just going to damage it even more and even more and even more. I honestly don't know what to do. I really am stuck now because I've spent all this money. I've got no money left at all, nothing. So we can't even have another Airbnb while the garage does this diagnostic. But I think that, in fact, I've requested that because we're in this full time for 9 months of the year, which now we've got 8 months after December, we would have a replacement motorhome to use while they diagnosed it and fixed it. The response I got was the dealer's insurance doesn't cover residency. I know for a fact that they give 1 month free caravan guard insurance with new motorhomes, so they could apply that to a loan motorhome. But that to me indicates that they think it's going to take longer than a month to diagnose and fix. So if that's the case, then all my facts stand and they should take the van back, in my opinion, cancel the finance and give me my money back, give me my deposit back. Even if they don't give me the money back I've spent on fixing the van, I want the deposit back so that I can buy another motorhome or a fifth wheel and a truck to go with it. So there's options available. They're just being businesses and protecting themselves and not looking after the consumer. So I've got one last thing to do, which is trading standards, but I don't really want to go down that route because there's not many people have had problems with this dealership. We know a couple of people that have had good relationships with new vans. I'm not mentioning any names for the finance, for the dealership or anything, just that we have had problems. We've still got problems. I'm going to have to take it slow to Derby and slow to Kettleby Lakes over Christmas and then slow back to Cheshire. We are little fish in a big pond and the bigger fish just don't want to know. Basically, that's what it is. So be warned, if you get finance and you get a van, make sure that you can actually prove all the service history. We've got no printouts, we've just got the stamp in the book, which I thought would have been fine, but all the paperwork has been removed. They've also been removed for GDPR, but they could have just crossed the names out and left all the details in. So the person that sold this to the dealership who traded it in or sold it knew exactly what was wrong with it and knew there was a fault. So that, I think, is fraudulent. The dealer probably should have done a bit more due diligence and tested it and checked it properly by taking it for a run and seeing what happens and making sure the engine's not clogged up. The exhaust pipe is, when you put your finger around it, is completely sooty. It's full of just really deep, thick particles of soot, which is an indication there's something wrong. I didn't know that until recently. And I just think it's been a fiasco and it's just, we've been sold a lemon, basically, which I'm sure happens to a lot of people. But do we get resolution? I don't know. So basically, stay tuned for the next video after this. And hopefully the next video won't be a whinge video. It will be Black Brook Lodge in Derby. And then the week after that will be Canterbury Lakes over Christmas. So, this should be fun. And then after that, honestly, at the moment, I don't know. But anyway, enough of my whinging. I don't want to whinge. I don't want to be poking fingers and pointing at people. But that's the situation. The van is still broken. It's still unfixable because nobody seems to know exactly what the problem is. Nobody, they've offered to, as I said before, they've offered to do a diagnostic, but they won't do it in the same day because everybody's now booked up past Christmas. And I can only take it to a garage that is certified, approved by the dealership and the finance company. So they could send me to London, they could send me to Scotland, they could send me across to Grantham or somewhere like that, they could just send me anywhere. And I don't want to run the van that far. The most I want to run the van is probably, 30 or 40 miles at a time, because that's doable at less than 5,000 revs or less than 4,000 revs and doesn't need the turbo to kick in and probably keeps the emissions low. I honestly don't know. We're at our wits' end now. I'm pulling my hair out. I've got more grey because of it. We're not sleeping properly, and it's just not what you want up to the run to Christmas. Keep watching, and we'll keep you posted on what happens to Connie over Christmas and the New Year. Subscribe to the channel, please, if you would. That would be great. You don't have to. My witterings probably put you off anyway. I don't blame you. Give the video a like. Have a comment on the video, please. Have you had the same problem with finance companies? Have you had the same problem with the engine management light coming on? The same error codes, the P3, the 368 and the 401 and the 402. Did you fix it? What did you have to do? Did it cost a lot? I'm not spending any more money on the van. That's it. No more. Regardless of what needs to be done. No more. I can't. All my savings have gone. That's it. Done. But anyway, come back next week, hopefully, for another video, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching this far. See you later.